Okay, good afternoon, everyone. It is 1 o'clock on August 15th. We're gonna wait up as soon as we get Dawn in, we looks like we'll have a quorum, so then we can start the meeting. So as soon as we see Dawn pop on the real side, then Harriet, I'll turn it over to you because I think we got it.
Cool, thank you, sir.
This is Don. I'm online now.
Awesome, thank you, sir.
Oh, forgot to pull up my camera. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. This is Harriet Vegas, and I would like to call the August 15th, 2024 meeting of the Nevada Tribal Emergency Coordinating Council to order. Ms. Borst, will you conduct the roll call, please?
Of course. Harriet Vegas,
Present.
Tokaki Charlie, Jackie Conway,
Present.
Dwayne Masters Sr.,
Here.
Don Coates,
I'm here.
Marion Perez, Kenneth Coiner,
It's Lisa Christensen sitting in for Kenneth.
thank you, Lisa. Ross Rivera, Daniel Thayer,
We can see Ross. Ross is there. He just didn't hear Ross.
Here, your voice is kind of low. Could barely hear you.
Dave Fogerson,
Present.
Emily Gould Monahan,
Point of order, you didn't say Daniel there.
Daniel Thayer, Daniel Thayer,
Saw him and I heard him earlier.
Daniel, can you hear us?
Yeah, because he did log on and make the comment that it was very low. The volume was very low. So I did see him pop up and make that comment.
Okay.
Call Ross Rivera again.
Ross Rivera,
This is Ross. Can you hear me?
yes, sir, thank you. And Samantha Laddish,
I'm here.
for the record.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Hey.
For the record, we have quorum.
Perfect. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it. We will close out agenda item number 1 and move on to agenda item number 2. This is public comment. This is for discussion only. No action may be taken upon a matter raised under this item of the agenda until the matter itself has been specifically included on the agenda as an item upon which action may be taken. Just had to make sure I was off mute. Public comments may be limited to 3 minutes per person at the discretion of the co-chairs. Comments will not be restricted based on viewpoint. To provide testimony during this period of public comment via telephone, please call in any time after 12:30 on the day of the meeting by dialing 1-669-219-2599. When prompted to provide the meeting ID, please enter 686-738-8625 and then press pound. When prompted for the participation ID, please press pound. When asked to provide public comment, please press *6 to unmute your phone and *6 again when your comments are complete. Also, please be advised that the YouTube stream will be between 60 and 90 seconds behind the live meeting. If you would like to present public comment, please call in using the above number to hear the meeting live. So while we wait for the lag time to catch up, would anyone like to provide a public comment there in Carson City?
Yeah, this is Daniel Thayer. Not sure if this is where this comment would come up. However, I was unaware that the Nevada Public Bodies updates was removed from the agenda. And I do think the information is really important for the tribes of Nevada, especially with CERC. Municipal Colony has passed a resolution that we can establish a LEPC within our tribe. And I know within CERC, there is grant funding available. And this is what we need to keep up on the information about, especially from the CERC level.
So, thank you for your comment. I know we had talked in the past about removing those items because the same information was found in other meetings. So I think that was kind of what we talked about when we were in Palm Springs, and I know you guys weren't there. But it's definitely something that we can revisit. Chief, I kind of look to you for any additional comments on that.
Absolutely, and I'm going to try to state, because I know that we're not supposed to reply to questions during public comment, and so I'm looking at Sam's face before I do this, or if we should take this under the Palm Springs agenda item.
Sorry, it took me a minute to get off mute. If you want to make a quick response to the public, I just don't want you guys to enter into a big discussion on it, but if you have a quick response, I think that's fine.
Absolutely. You know, Danny, down at in Palm Springs, we had 5 members of the committee that was with us. And when we were talking to FEMA, one of the things that everyone asked for was to not reduplicate things that are occurring at other meetings. And that item specifically came up. And CERC isn't under the purview of the Division of Emergency Management, it's under Department of Public Safety. And so a lot of the people that were present there in Palm Springs did come up with, if you want to know about these other meetings, they're all on YouTube, they're all on those things, you can go visit them there, rather than having the division, especially trying to rehash something from another department that we don't have control or authority over. So feel free, we can talk offline too. And if it's something that the body wants back on, feel free to put it back on too. But that was the discussion that was kind of had there off campus.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, are there any public comments on the phone?
No, there's no public comment.
Okay, any other comments on this call? Okay, hearing no other comments, we will close out agenda item number 2 and move on to agenda item number 3. This is the approval of minutes. This is for discussion and for possible action. The NTECC will review and discuss the minutes of, this says the February meeting, but I believe it should be the May 6th, or do I have a wrong copy?
Co-chair, we found a typographical error on the agenda, so I'd like to table this item until next meeting, and then we'll approve this one, plus the, then we can discuss not only the minutes from the February meeting or the May meeting, but also from this meeting.
Perfect, I agree. So we will table agenda item number 3 for our next meeting. And we will move on to agenda item number 4. And with that, I would like to turn it over to you, Chief.
Absolutely, ma'am. Okay, item number 4, this is nomination election of the NTECC tribal co-chair, discussion and for possible action. According to NTECC bylaws, the NTECC members will nominate and vote for a member to serve a 2-year term as a tribal co-chair. Members may nominate and vote upon a new co-chair from the voting members. Harriet served in this role for maybe 6 years, and 2 of those were through COVID, so that's probably 4 decades worth of time to be counted on for full action. So I know that Harriet is kind of looking for someone to take her place, but she's probably not gonna want to say that aloud here. But open up the floor for any nominations, or if we just want to push Harriet underneath the bus for another 2 years. Or if Ross or somebody else would like it as well. Is that fair enough for
No.
you, Harriet?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
So I'll open the floor up for any nominations for the tribal co-chair.
Mr. Ross, was that you kind of throwing your hat in the ring when you came off mute?
No, I declined. I think you do a better job.
I don't know about that, but okay.
This Daniel Thayer, I nominate Harriet for co-chair.
Harriet, are you willing to do it again?
I was waiting for the little participation to update to see who I could. I did have some people in mind. Unfortunately, they were unable to help out, which I understand. I would be honored to do it again. I just feel that, aren't y'all tired of hearing my voice? But I mean, honestly, if I just feel I would do it again if there was no one else, is what I'll say.
Well, in that case, this was former Chairman Dwayne Masters. I'll second that nomination and close the link.
Okay, we have a first and second for Harriet as chair. Any discussion? Anybody with the train sound or a bus sound that we could play right now? All in favor, say aye.
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 And we'll note that Harriet voted no. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously. Congratulations, co-chair.
Congratulations, Harriet.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Harry.
No,
You're
thank you
doing a
guys.
great job, Harriet.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
And Madam Co-Chair, item number 5, we're also gonna have to table. The individual that was presenting on behalf of NV Energy just had an emergency come up and can't make the meeting today.
Sounds good. Did you want me to continue with the running the meeting, or do you want to do it? You let me know.
Please continue, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so as mentioned, well, first of all, thank you guys very much for entrusting me. I really appreciate it. I've learned a lot, and I learned a lot from you guys, so thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. So as mentioned, we will go ahead and table agenda item number 5 to our next meeting. And we will move on to agenda item number 6. This is our Tribal Resiliency Continuity Program. This is for discussion only. This is provided by Lisa Christensen from the Washoe Tribe. Ms. Christensen will discuss the Tribal Resiliency Continuity Program and its implications to the tribes. Ms. Christensen, I will turn it over to you, ma'am.
Hello, everybody. So, I learned this down at TECC, so I'm not sure if everybody is real aware of it. I know that BIA has taken it to NCAI before and it was turned down. It was at TACG this year that BIA Office of Emergency Management presented this resolution, and I was really excited about it. But they need support, so I brought it back here to the Washoe Tribe. I presented it to my chairman to have him possibly share it through ITCN, since he's the chairperson for their committee over there. Then he asked me to write a summary about it. And then I thought, well, I'm gonna see if I can pass it through NTECC to try to see if we can get some support from emergency managers for your tribal leadership to hopefully write a letter to USET to help support this resolution. If anybody wants to follow along, I believe it was sent out by Josie. It's the USET resolution number 2024-008. I just wanted, for me personally, for the Washoe Tribe, the summary that I wrote for the chairman, I'll read that first, because this is what happened here over the years with the Washoe Tribe and their emergency management. So there was a presentation from BIA Office of Emergency Management at the Tribal Assistance Coordination Group Conference in 2024 for the USET SPF Resolution 2024-008 to fund a tribal resiliency program for all tribes. Tribal nations and tribal emergency management organizations have limited access to obtain funding for emergency management programs to support and meet the standards required by Homeland Security Act and Robert T. Stafford Act, as well as the standards developed by FEMA. So there are 28 federally recognized tribes in the state of Nevada. 6 tribes are funded by a full-time emergency manager. 18 tribal emergency managers hold multiple positions within their respective tribes, and only 9 tribes are PL 638 contracted, including the Washoe Tribe. So going back to what I found first recorded in the Washoe Tribe was the flood of 1997. The Washoe Tribe reported approximately 62 areas of flood damage from the Woodfords to the Stewart Ranch. Chairman Brian Wallace requested direct FEMA funding for the affected tribes in Nevada under an executive order from President Clinton, directing federal agencies to operate within a government-to-government relationship with all federal recognized tribes in April 29, 1994. FEMA eventually directed the tribes to apply for assistance through their counties. So the Washoe Tribe opted into a National Incident Management Systems, NIMS, on September 18, 2006, with the approval of the Emergency Operations Plan and a Multi-Hazard Mitigation Plan in 2006. The Environmental Protection Department took on the responsibility of funding a part-time emergency manager. The program was funded through the state of Nevada with the Emergency Management Performance Grant, which provided $20,000 that was required to be matched by a non-federal grant fund, which was our chief of police. And 2015, the state announced that they were going to change a formula that would provide more EMPG to the larger counties in Nevada, leaving the tribes with less funding. The Washoe Tribe did not have any funding to provide the emergency management program, leaving training, planning on emergency plans outdated, CERT teams disengaged, and disasters were happening through the years in each community. Well, I left the position as the emergency manager and the environmental specialist too, to go into law enforcement at the same time. So the USET resolution states that Congress has allocated $55 billion Homeland Security grant program funds to the state and local governments, while tribal nations have been allocated $95 million in the same period. The state and local governments were prepared, had a capacity to navigate the complex FEMA processes and receive billions in relief funding during COVID-19. The failure to uphold the trust and treaty obligations prevented tribes from accessing billions in life-saving emergency relief funds during COVID-19. During the response to COVID-19, Washoe Tribe staff were overworked, understaffed, and unable to navigate FEMA processes. The finance team worked many hours to provide the documentation required for reimbursement, approximately $120,000, which took approximately 3 years for the Washoe Tribe to recover from FEMA. The USET resolution intends for BIA and BIA Office Emergency Management to request funding for the Tribal Resiliency Program to promote the next era of tribal self-determination PL 638 EM contract. The funding would support a minimum of 3 full-time emergency managers in each tribal nation in the United States. The minimum funds requested are $206 million, which will be approximately $360,000 for each tribe annually. Non-competitive, without cost share, and streamlined at the Department of Interior to empower all tribal nations to build core emergency management, homeland security, and emergency services capacities and capabilities. So this summary was provided to support the United South and Eastern Tribes Sovereignty Protection Fund, USET, resolution number 2024-008. Support for the establishment of the Tribal Resiliency Continuity Program for the Department of Interior. So that was the summary that I wrote for my chairman. The resolution is kind of long, but everybody's got a copy of it. And I just wanted to present it to the tribes of Nevada because when I heard about it, I think I was me and Crystal were the only ones from the state of Nevada down there, and Josie. But I really got excited about this. So what I'm requesting from the group today is just like a support letter from your councils, your chair people, to try to get to NCAI to have this put back on the agenda and possibly move forward on this to have it voted for. And that's all that I had for this. So, and if anybody has any corrections, this is my understanding when I read the resolution and a lot of the information that I've brought back from NTECC this year. So, and then a copy of the resolution are in the documents that were sent out by Josie. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa, for that report. Are there any questions for Lisa from the members? Okay, hearing none, we will close out agenda item number 6 and move on to agenda item number 7. This is a review of the bylaws. This is for discussion only and for possible action, submitted by co-chair David Fogerson. Chief Fogerson will present current and proposed bylaws with the NTECC to ensure they continue to meet the needs of the council. You all should have received a copy of the Nevada Tribal Emergency Coordinating Council bylaws. And thank you to Ms. Borst for all your work in putting this together for us. Members, please review, and when you're ready, I'll take a motion to amend or approve.
So Chair, if I may have a couple of words.
Yes, sir, please.
So everyone does have 2 copies. They have the existing ones that come from 2019 that really seem to me to be from the old ITERC days and not how we're doing business today. So the division took it upon ourselves to revise those bylaws into the second set of bylaws that you have in your agenda packet. to reflect how we've been doing business for the last probably 4 years. That from the lessons we learned through COVID, employing the state tribal liaisons, and then using this as NRS 414 does state as the sounding board from the tribal nations to the chief's position. So the only change that were made was really to make it reflect what we actually do. The last bylaws kind of made it sound like the state tribal liaisons work for NTECC, and they do work for the State Division of Emergency Management, with NTECC providing advice, the council to the chief's positions. That way we steer those positions correctly for you guys. So that's the differences in the two. And I'd encourage a review of the draft bylaws, and then we can take a look through those and see if anybody has any recommended changes, but I would ask that we adopt the draft bylaws.
Thank you, Chief. I do have a question. Also, it mentioned in Ms. Christensen's report that we have 28 federally recognized tribes. I've seen a map. I think Josie did a presentation, and on her map, it also said 28 federally recognized tribes, but here we have it 27. Is that, I just want to verify that there is 28, and if so, if we can correct that.
Yeah, 28 is correct. This is Josie for the record.
And we'll make that update.
Perfect. Are there any questions from the members regarding the updated bylaws?
Yeah, this is Ross Rivera. Again. Yeah, I was gonna comment on the 27 also. If it has to be a number, or could it say all federally recognized tribes? In case that changes again.
I would be completely comfortable with that.
I agree. I think that's a good point.
Then just below us, right above the NRS 414, where it says should be focused on all hazard emergency management. And I don't know what you think, but I thought about adding comma preparedness and comma compliance.
Where you at there,
Seems
Ross?
like-
Is that in section 2, paragraph A?
Yes.
Yes. And that is taken out of the NRS, so I don't want to
Okay.
change that, because that starts changing the legislative intent. Although I think that we've been doing what you're asking for there, and I think we're along lines with that, but that first A there really comes out of NRS 414 for the committee, for the council.
Okay, I was just curious where that language came from.
I can blame Caleb for that.
Yeah, I'll be quiet.
Please don't.
Maybe.
Yes, down there, do we have to have the wording state that it's the 28 recognized Nevada tribes? Because if you say recognized federally recognized tribes, it opens us up for everybody.
And I think what we talked about just a second ago, Danny, was that recognized perspectives from all federally recognized tribes in Nevada. And we'll strike that 27, that strikes 28, just put all federally recognized tribes in Nevada,
Okay.
if you're good with that. And I know that, I only have 77 days left, but I know Brett has the same feeling I do, that when someone's on a border tribe, we don't care where the state line is. We care about how we take care of you. And we want you to use the best resource you have to take care of yourselves, whether it's through the state or through the feds. And we're very happy to point that out when we can make those allowances for everybody.
Okay, are there any other questions or any other discussion regarding the bylaws?
Hi, good afternoon. This is Jackie. It's just a quick error, nothing major, but under 5 meetings, under A, it just says at least every 3, and then it goes down to the next sentence for the 3 months. It's just spelling, or not spelling, just like a correction there.
Awesome, got it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else that anyone can see?
Hang on 1 second, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
And I don't think we would recognize that. I think the language is good the way it is. I don't think it causes any conflict for us. But if you want to bring that up to the group, I'm good. Stand on the record too, but I don't think that's gonna be something we have to worry about. Because this group only provides advice to council in my position, doesn't make any decisions, doesn't have the authority, anything else, so.
They have local grants, I mean.
But this committee doesn't, council doesn't control any of that. Council only provides advice and counsel to the chief on how to affect Native American affairs. Doesn't do anything related to grants or decisions or anything.
I'm not.
Okay, ma'am, I think we're good here in Carson. We had a little sidebar.
Perfect, thank you. So, we'll go ahead and make, if I'm correct, the corrections and additions, the edits will be made. And we will present them, for possible adoption at our next NTECC meeting. Is that correct? Am I saying that right?
And if you like, we can adopt them now with the changes that were noted. And then we'll bring them back as an informational item at the next meeting. Just to make the process go a little smoother.
I like that better.
My last one, and Brett might not, I might not remember to tell Brett I'll integrate details in 3 months from now. I'd hate for him to have to get caught into something that really is my fault, not his.
No, I like that. I think that's good. So, okay, so regarding the review of the NTECC bylaws, with the noted corrections, the changing of the 27 tribes, we're going to update it to, with language similar to, all federally recognized tribes in Nevada. And the correction, that Ms. Conway pointed out under the meetings section. I think that was all that the corrections we had. Is that right?
Those are the ones I had, ma'am, and I see that all 27 in 3 spots, so.
Me
I'll
too.
make sure that it's not anywhere else, but make that correction globally throughout the document.
Okay, thank you. So with those corrections, can I have a motion to approve the new NTECC bylaws with those corrections as mentioned, please?
This is Ross Rivera. I make that motion.
Thank you, sir. You have a
This is
second?
Dwayne Masters. I'll second that.
Thank you, Mr. Masters. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, say no. Okay, motion passes. So we have now adopted the new NTECC bylaws with the corrections as mentioned. Okay, so we will close out agenda item number 7 and move on to agenda item number 8. This is the Palm Springs Tribal Meeting report. This is for discussion only, provided by co-chair Dave Fogerson. The NTECC will jointly discuss the activities, discussion, and feedback that occurred at the FEMA Region 9 2024 Tribal Partnership Workshop held at the Agua Caliente Rancho Mirage in Rancho Mirage, California from June 25th through the 27th of 2024. Chief Fogerson, you have the floor, sir.
Awesome, thank you, ma'am. And I want to make this a group discussion. Once I make two comments. First off, I'd like to find whoever at FEMA picked Palm Springs on June 25th, 26th, 27th for a conference. I think we probably could have picked someplace where the temperature is not 129 degrees outside, and that's not an understatement. So with that as the start of it, I'd like to actually thank Lisa, Jackie, Harriet, and I know Don was there. Don brought another member from Pyramid Lake, and I'm leaving out some other folks. Josie, Crystal, from the division staff, we brought Rodney, Sharon, our deputy, and myself. And I'd like to thank all of us for going to that meeting and having some good discussions. And it was nice to see the differences between California, Arizona, and Nevada. California's gotten a lot better in their tribal relations, but still has a ways to go. Arizona's come a long way with their tribal relations, but every member from FEMA kind of giggled to me about how our conversation was more of a true conversation among friends, as opposed to maybe some of the problems that were occurring in other states. So it was a prideful moment for me, knowing that was my last conference I'd be going to with my friends, and we had a good time having discussion about how we fix the future. So rather than me bemoaning on, I'd love to have each of you that was there maybe talk about key points or what your lesson learned was, or something that we could do better, or any of those discussion points from that conference. If that's agreeable with you, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Can I call on Ms. Christensen? Can you provide a little synopsis of your thoughts from the conference, please?
And please feel free to mention Palm Springs in June.
Oh my gosh, that was the worst. That's the first time I ever burnt my feet on pavement. So yes, it was a little hot. And that was the first time I went down there. It was a long drive. I opted into driving down there as I didn't realize there was a airport right there in Palm Springs. Just some of my notes here in talking about, let's see, mitigation. Where I learned that a lot of tribes are taking the hazmat chapter out of their mitigation. Can't even understand my own notes. We did have the presentation from IPAWS. Information about BRIC. Tribal Homeland Security. So Tribal Homeland Security, I thought this is really neat from Kelby. So her goal with the Tribal Homeland Security grant funding, the Tribal Homeland, she wants to try to get it to where it's non-competitive and it's like a 638 that automatically goes out to every tribe. So that's what one of the things that she's been working towards. She did mention it over at the NTECC too, or not NTECC, over at the TACG. And then with the other one, especially for the tribes that have the fire departments, the assistance to firefighters grant. I think that was a grant that was opened, and I didn't know this, and I didn't even think about it, is that there's a micro grant under $75,000 for operation safety, facility upgrades. I think there was like some money in there to take care of the firefighters, like cancer screening and things like that for them, which I thought was really neat, because I would have never thought, even though we know firefighters are out there, especially wildland firefighters, are breathing in smoke continuously while they're out fighting fires, that you know, we don't stop to think about them taking care of getting their health screening and things like that. So I really thought that was a really interesting part that they shared that could be paid with that grant. I think that you got to correct me, Dave, if I was wrong. But I thought that was pretty neat. Yeah. And I think that was more for the tribes that had the fire departments. The notice of funding.
Hi, is Lyle here?
No.
Oh, I called earlier to tell him we can be.
Harry, it looks like Lisa got involved in a little sidebar discussion there. Maybe we should go to somebody else real quick and then circle back to Lisa.
Yeah,
there she is.
that was just really some of the stuff that I thought was interesting. I got my really short notes and things. It's just really hard to read through. So I think that was probably it, but then I really thought it was interesting. And learned a lot, especially from the other tribes that were there, California, Arizona, and us. I like the little breakout sessions that we had. We got a chance to talk to each other, especially in Nevada. And then all of us going over and trying to check out the California side to see if they were doing okay, if everybody was, you know, protected on that side. But I think that was really it. It was good. Yeah, and if we can have it planned next time for someplace not so hot. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for that update. And I have to say, I had my notes in my little tablet and I left my tablet at home. And so I'm grateful because your update reminded me of a lot of the things that I had written in my notes. And so I appreciate that. And if I can call on Ms. Conway for her thoughts and comments from the conference as well. Are you available, Ms. Conway?
Hi, good afternoon. This is Jackie. I'd just like to say it was a really great conference. It's just the heat. I wasn't used to that type of heat and it was so windy. You could just, the heat. But it was really good to see everyone. One of the major things that I learned about in the conference, which I have to get more information on, I missed the training, was on the community disaster resilience zones. They brought that up and there's a deadline to get your letters back into, I guess, FEMA, their mitigation. Because all the tribes are designated a tract and a zone. And that's another thing I really liked. They broke the conference up to different tables. So there was like 3 rooms of tables where you could have one-on-one. And when I went to find out about the Found Paiute Shoshone tribe and our tract, we have 2 tracts. So you have to designate one. And I have to really meet with my council to explain. So one track is our reservation, and that's basically all our homes. That's our ranching, agricultural. Our other track is basically our colony and our economic development, including Fernley. We have land in Fernley also. So the tribe has to designate either one or the other. So it's either the economic and our government services or the residential homes and our tribal farmers, ranchers. So that's going to be a big discussion with the council for them to designate which tract or which zone in this CDRZ. And there's a deadline of August 31st, which is coming up really quick. And I do really appreciate Nevada Division of Emergency Management. We had a Nevada breakout session and it was really good. It was like friends catching up. What's going on in your jurisdiction? What could be done better? What do we have coming up? It was a really good place to have just that one-on-one discussion time together. And I did really appreciate having some of the Nevada partners on the panels. They're able to provide, you know, their expertise in their own sections. But overall, it was a really good conference. And just my only tip, I flew down, I didn't drive. And meeting with everyone on the one-on-one tables, I got so much information because it was information overload. I went back to the room, I was just overloaded with information. But all I had were carry-ons. So my carry-ons were so heavy. So in the future, I would just ask for electronic copies of everything instead of hard copies. But it was a really good conference and workshop. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for that. I appreciate the report. If I can call on Mr. Pelt for his thoughts on the conference. Are you available, sir?
Well, sure. It was an excellent conference. It was way too hot. And I'm from Florida and I thought it was way too hot. But I was fortunate enough to be asked to sit on the panel for the AFG grants and for mutual aid agreements between tribes and other jurisdictions. And I spoke mainly about the IMAC, which is the Intrastate Mutual Aid Compact, to which I sat on the committee for the state with for that. And it requires tribes to opt in. Cities and counties under the Nevada Revised Statute are required to join, but the tribes have to opt in. Otherwise, they're not recognized by that. And even if you don't have a fire department, I would highly recommend you get your tribal councils to opt into that, because if something happens on your reservation, you can request through DEM fire protection services from all over the state. It's not just right where you are. I mean, you can bring in all the resources you need. So I would highly encourage all of our NTECC members to try to get their councils, maybe by resolution, to join that so that they're protected in a time of emergency. And then we talked again about the AFG grants, which also included a little bit about SAFER. And I know because there's not a lot of fire departments within the tribes, it didn't really apply, but there was a lot of good discussion about how to get those grants. And overall, it was an excellent conference. I did learn the main thing is when FEMA says heavy hors d'oeuvres, that means a heck of a spread, including prime rib. I had no idea about. But I guess you can't call it a buffet, so they called it heavy hors d'oeuvres. So keep that in mind when you go to FEMA conferences. Other than that, it was great. It was great to have Chief Fogerson there. We're going to miss him terribly around here. He has been a huge help to all the tribes and a wonderful partner to work with at the state level. And I hope all the tribes find a way to work with the DEM in the future, because they've been a big help for Pyramid Lake, and I know they can be a big help for everyone else. And unless anybody has any questions, I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And I agree with everything you said, the food. Actually, I'll throw my 2 cents in just really quick. For me, it wasn't that hot. I'm kind of used to that kind of heat. So to me, it was a typical day in June. But I will say the wind was very annoying. And who knew there was that much sand there? I was kind of shocked by the amount of sand. But overall, it was a great place to stay. The staff there were amazing. The facilities were gorgeous. The only thing I wished is I would have liked to maybe had a break from the heat of Las Vegas and go somewhere a little bit cooler. But otherwise it was a great time. I learned a lot. It was great catching up. The breakout session that we had for Nevada was, I really appreciated that because it was almost, I mean, it was very, like we said earlier, catching up with friends. There was not a camera on us. There wasn't, this, need to be careful what you say. It was nice that we were able to, check in with each other, see what each other needed without having to be so formal. And that was really nice. I appreciated that. I did learn a lot from the breakout sessions and from the panels. I wish I would have brought my notes today. I took it home to update it or to sync it and forgot to bring it back to work this morning. So, but I really had a good time. And also, forgive me, I don't remember who else was there. Maybe you can help me if I missed someone. I mean, I know the other partners, I was trying to catch the tribal people that were there, but I know Reno Sparks wasn't able to make it, unfortunately. But is there anyone else that I may have missed?
Can I just say one thing real quick, Harriet? Well,
Yes, sir.
actually, two things. One, we know the reason that Reno Sparks Colony wasn't there was because of the loss of a great emergency manager with Dave Hunkup. And I gotta say, Chief Fulgerson really had some very wonderful words to say with regards to Dave and that loss that we all feel from him. And the other thing I would like to say is next time we need to remind FEMA that Hawaii is in our district. I certainly wouldn't mind taking a trip to Hawaii, but anyway, I was all I had. Thanks.
I'll agree with that.
Yes, thank you all for that. I agree too. I agree too. Chief, was there any other one that maybe I missed that would like to speak that you can call on or give your thoughts?
We got Josie, who we can blame for the heat since she's from FEMA, so it's her fault now. And Crystal, but I also want to give big thanks to FEMA for letting us go up at the end and having that moment of silence for Dave, because he was a big person in a lot of our lives. So it's nice that they gave us a chance to talk and recognize him.
That's
Yes.
tough. Sorry. Okay, well, I think, let me suck it up for a second here. If there are no other comments regarding the Palm Springs Tribal Meeting Report, I mean, and Josie, did you have anything you wanted to add? I'm sorry, I should have asked you.
Josie Burnett for the record. I don't want to take up too much time. Just to add on to the comments from Jackie about the community disaster resilience zones and the cedars. just as a sidebar, this morning from headquarters, we had received notification that the application for tribes to submit their application has been extended from the end of August to September 30th. So just a comment on that. Other than that, it was a really great conference and we had a lot of great conversations. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. So Cedars was moved to September 30th, you said?
That is correct. Josie Burnett for the record.
Perfect, thank you.
Hi, this is Lisa again. So when we were on the Cedars meeting the other day, that was one of the questions that Reno Sparks brought up, and I asked was, since the Washoe tribe has 5 tracks, if we had to choose between one of the 5, and the presenter let us know that we didn't have to. So I don't know if that would answer Jackie's question about having to choose, or who was it? Somebody that asked the question if they had to choose between the 2 tracks for the Cedars. They made it
Lisa?
clear. Is that right?
Lisa, we'll have Josie follow up with you later on, since that's on an agendized item.
Okay.
Sam is gonna slap me if we start talking about it. I only got a few more times to make fun of Sam too, so. And I needed some humor after the last little thing that we did.
I agree. I agree. But yeah, I thought the same thing regarding the question from Jackie. I'm sure Josie will reach out to you to discuss that. But I also wanted to, is Crystal still on? Crystal, do you have anything that you'd like to share? Are you available?
Hey, Harry, I'm here. Hi, everyone. Did you want me to provide input about the FEMA Region 9 conference or anything in general? So I don't want to go off topic and get my hand slapped up either.
I was thinking of the conference, the Palm Springs.
So for their conference, I thought it was really good. It was good to see everybody down there again. I get to see it from a different side of the house and wasn't privy to any of the breakout rooms for the states because I'm on the federal side now, which is understandable, but I got some feedback from several rooms with the different states because I cover all 3 still. Yeah, Cedars, in my opinion, is it's a little confusing. So hopefully before that deadline happens, they can clarify it for the tribe so they can get their information in and be counted on that. In terms of some of the grants, they're still the same. FEMA's trying to move really good in lightening the load for the tribes to participate more with some of those grants. Like was mentioned before, they're doing something similar with trying to get annual allocations, the same as BIA. So whoever gets it first will be really good for the tribes. So we're working hard on that on our end. And I know headquarters is working on that too, to ensure that our tribes hopefully can get some additional funding to either build or sustain their emergency management programs. But overall, I thought the conference was good and it was good seeing everybody down there.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I appreciate that. Anything else before we move on? I think that was a pretty good, robust discussion on the Palm Springs FEMA meeting. So with that, we'll close out agenda item number 8 and we'll move on to agenda item number 9. This is discussion on the status of the DEM-HS efforts to assist our tribal nations. This is for discussion only, and it's provided by co-chair Dave Fogerson. DEMHS is interested in hearing feedback on the status of the DEMHS programs as they relate to tribal nation protection, prevention, response, mitigation, and recovery efforts for emergency management, homeland security, and public health preparedness. The NTECC members are encouraged to discuss ways that DEMHS can improve its efforts to better support their needs. Co-chair for Fogerson will solicit input from individual NTECC members on possible tribal representatives to serve on the NTECC. Chief Fogerson, I turn it back to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. And this is our standing agenda item for everyone to give anything that we're not doing that we should be doing, or anything we're doing that is hurting you, we should stop doing comments, just like we did down at, had with the FEMA discussion, and just like we do every time we meet. Obviously, sometimes you don't want to say things in public, so everyone knows my cell phone number, my home address, my home phone number, and my email. So I'm welcome for comments that are offline as well. Hopefully we're taking as good a care of you as you think you need to be taken care of, and we're not trying to push things onto you that you're not looking for. And then also remember that just like on the bylaws, every tribe in Nevada under 414 is allowed a representative. So if you know a tribe that has someone that's interested in emergency management and is participating but isn't on this board, all you have to do is let us know, and we get them added to this board with a letter from their council chair. Always looking to make this board up to the 27 slots or 28 slots that are allotted for us. So I'll leave it at that and open up for anything we're not doing that we should be doing, anything we are doing that we should not be doing, or any other thoughts that you guys have.
Chief, I think I'll start. I just really appreciate all that you guys have been doing for me. I know it's not on the agenda, but last week we had the IPPW. Your staff was there. I learned a lot. Very helpful as usual. I never feel alone. I always feel that someone is always calling to check on me. Well, not just me, but I mean on our tribe, and reaching out to me to see what I need, offering suggestions, making things happen for me. And I really appreciate that. Like I said, I learned a lot last week. I had some great recommendations from your staff, and I've already implemented those recommendations. And so I really appreciate the relationship that we have, because I know it just helps keep our tribe safer, and that's my goal, to make sure that my tribe is taken care of. So I appreciate that. And with that, I'll open up to anyone else for comments for Chief Fogerson.
Hi, this is Lisa Christensen with Washoe Tribe. So just going back to what Daniel said about how having a LIVESTREAM for his tribe, I think that's a good idea to have a North and South LIVESTREAM for tribes all together, and then have a representative come to NTECC and report to us what the tribes are needing, what kind of trainings and things like that. If DEM can support us in some way like that. So at least we're getting some information from some of the tribes that haven't been to NTECC. I don't know if that's something that we can.
And that's a great idea, Lisa. The only problem is LIVESTREAM is outside of our statutes. LIVESTREAM reports back to CERC, to the Department of Public Safety. So doing a LIVESTREAM version wouldn't work for us. That's why we have NTECC as our version that would do that, or then our state tribal liaisons reaching out, and then our FEMA liaison that we house in-house and shows up to work every day is the best piece we got.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Montooth, I see your hand is raised. Would you like to comment?
Permission to speak?
Of course, ma'am.
Thank you. As a non-voting member, I wasn't quite sure if that was acceptable or not. I wanted to return to Chief Fulgerson's comments about reaching out to other tribal nations that aren't necessarily active participants in your regular meetings. Many of you might be aware the Timbishan Nation, which I actually think that they're contributing to the confusion about 27 or 28 tribes, but that's a story for another day. But the Timbishan Nation has recently been authorized, if you will, to start a business enterprise. They're gonna own and operate a casino. Now, the casino will actually be in what is now California. But I would think with that kind of an enterprise, they would have to have someone on their staff that is well-versed in public safety, emergency management. So it's likely we might be able to lure another member from that tribe. I certainly will communicate with their leadership, at least to put a little bug in their ear that we have this amazing group and the services of the state of Nevada. Thanks.
And we do have one representative from the Timbisha-Shoshone tribe, but I believe that they have a couple of different reservations, so we can probably see about that. But the law is does say one per tribal nation, so we'll have to see how it works out.
Hey, anyone else have any comments for Chief Fulgerson? Anything they'd like to bring up or discuss?
Yeah, Daniel there. I was just wondering how we're doing on trying to hire new liaisons for NDEM.
I can speak to that. This is Bill Elliott with Division of Emergency Management for the record. We have been in the process of hiring the tribal liaisons. Unfortunately, the state process it grinds pretty slow, and it takes a while. And we have our human resources agency doesn't quite know what emergency management is. When we get lists of people that qualify, they qualify for a different kind of position than what we have. And certainly not somebody with tribal experience that we certainly want. So what we have done is we have rejected some of the lists that they have given us because they're mainly for administrative people. And we have asked them to re-advertise. Now it is in what we call DERM, the Department of Health Resource Management.
Human resource management.
Human resource manager, not health. So we're on them every day trying to get the advertisement out. Once they say that we can begin to advertise, we will get it out on our websites. We will ask our tribal partners to put it out to their folks and get it out so that we can hire the best persons for the jobs. We have 2 jobs that are available. The first one coming up is the tribal liaison, and the second one is the tribal health liaison. And that position has been vacant because FEMA keeps on jacking my crew. So, and taking all the people that we've trained very hard. I'm not mentioning any names, but it's on the FEMA edge. But we really appreciate that person still sticking it out. So that's kind of and I was going to talk about that when it came up to my updates for the tribal liaison staff, which I'm taking over for it. And we do have what we call a team approach for preparedness, and if we have operations, we will have also a team approach to working with the tribe that may be impacted by an emergency or disaster. So from my perspective, if a tribe needs help, we still are going to respond to that tribe. Right now, because we don't have the tribal liaisons, we're not getting out to all the tribes, but I'm hoping to resolve that quickly.
We're a victim of our own success. Before those were contract positions. And we got those contract positions pulled over to state full-time employment jobs. So that way that we would be able to retain the people a little longer. And then at that time, the state government decided that the entire state vacancy rates were like 40% vacancies. And so the state HR decided to just start moving people through faster and not doing individual recruitments. So it took us a few times to refute their generalized recruitments to get them to do a specialized recruitment for us. So it is the top of our priority list of the positions to fill. But I also want to make sure that we find somebody and they've got a benefit package. That way they want to stay here instead of the contract staff that is kind of come and gone. And we've it was always easy to hire somebody, but I don't think we treated them very well. So now we make them stay employees, they get retirement, they get health benefits, they'll get a little better package than what they had before as a contractor. So hopefully we get some wheels underneath that bus shortly. But if you do look at the other victim of our successes, we got Crystal hired at FEMA, then to BIA, we got Josie hired from us to FEMA, and both of them are still here in the state, still helping us supporting our tribal nations and supporting the division very well. So it's all about building that future in those relationships. So hopefully we can find 2 good candidates and then get them to stay because of that benefit package.
Okay, thank you.
So Danny, is that you maybe showing interest that you'd like to apply? No comment.
Never say no.
Okay, well, I'm
Electing
trying.
a new chair. Could we use Danny as chair then? If he doesn't want to be this one, we'll make him the chair.
I'll chill for a bit.
Okay, well, I know I've talked to a couple people and tried to push them in that direction, and I don't know. Fingers crossed. Hope it happens sooner than later.
I'd rather hire the right person for us than just hire a person. That's right. We did that once and I was not very happy, and I think you guys all were in the same boat I was until we helped that person find other employment elsewhere.
That is correct, sir. And I agree. It's almost word of mouth. I mean, yeah, it's like I said, I'm trying to push a few people that way. So, are there any other questions from the members for Chief Fogerson regarding agenda item number 9? Okay, well, hearing none, I appreciate the discussion that we had. I will go ahead and close out agenda item number 9 and we'll move on to agenda item number 10. This is the update on tribal health preparedness efforts. This is for discussion only, provided by DT Allen, Public Health Preparedness Program. Mr. Allen will update the NTECC on the Division of Public and Behavioral Health's health preparedness efforts. Mr. Allen, I turn it over to you.
Hi everyone, this is Emily Gold-Monahan. I don't believe DT is on the call today, so I'm just going to go ahead and jump in and give those updates if that's okay with you. First of all, congratulations, Harriet, on that second nomination. So that's awesome. Glad you're sticking in. So to start with, with those vacancies at DEM right now with the Tribal Health Clinic Liaison, PHP is kind of looking for more opportunities to join and attend any tribal meetings and activities during this time. So please let us know how we can support you. We do have several DPBH tribal liaisons within our division. I know those roles are they're looking to restructure those right now, so I'm not really sure what that looks like. They're going to maintain those 3 positions. I've heard it's going to be 1 position overall, but in the meantime, please let us know how we can support you because we're happy to do so. And then we also had really good tribal representation and participation at the beginning of our 5-year strategic planning efforts, which started last November. So our plan, I know we were supposed to be ready right now with that draft. So unfortunately, there have been some I guess, limitations to it being finalized. So while we overcome those challenges, we'll just kind of keep you updated on that progress. We're hoping to have a draft out to our partners soon, and that really just outlines our activities over the next 5 years with our partners. So it's kind of a driving factor in what we'd like to be doing this next year. And since we started this new budget period, we're kind of eagerly anticipating that draft to be finalized with our vendor so we can get started on some of those projects. So kind of in a continuation of those efforts, we had work groups that were created with the initial strategic plan. So I can provide a list of those work groups because we'd still love to see tribal participation in those work groups. And that includes pediatric planning. We have access to functional needs. I believe there's a policy work group. So I can definitely provide that list to you all here just to see if anyone would like to continue with that participation in the future. So once we have our finalized draft, I'm sure we'll reconvene after that point. I don't really have that date at this time. And then we continue to work with Heather Lafferty, who's the DEI Access Functional Needs Coordinator of DEM. Right now, we're working on building AFN communication boxes to include hearing, seeing, and other access accommodations. So those will be deployable from within the county. We're kind of to be determined again on the POCs for that, and then establishing that request process because these are brand new resources. So we're just kind of in the beginning stages of getting those ready for deployment. But I think there will be pre-staging opportunities if any tribe is interested in hosting that or just keeping a hold of that supply for us. So please reach out to Heather or Ames Holler from our program if you're interested in that. We'll have more information on that to come. And then likewise with our resources, I think we've about finalized our hazmat decontamination trailer. So that's super exciting. This was previously another trailer that we had quite a few years ago, but we've revamped it. I know we're rating on maybe 2 small items like a rolling cage and scrub brushes, but basically it is finalized. So if there is an incident that requires hazmat decontamination, please let us know and we're happy to bring that to you. We can also bring it out and pre-stage it during any tribal exercises or trainings, just so you kind of get the hang of it, see what it looks like. Similar requesting process through ESFA and DEM again, so nothing too crazy there, but an exciting new resource if necessary. And then likewise with DEM, we have quite a few vacancies that we're trying to fill within my side of the program with HPP. It's not necessarily any candidate issues, it's more so the vetting process and making sure we are finding appropriate people and all that jazz. So we'll just kind of keep you updated on that. So we definitely still have a fully staffed side of the house. We're fully capable of, bringing resources, providing any assistance you might need, just being there to support you. Just know that we do have quite a few vacancies. So if it takes a little bit longer to respond on certain issues, that's just probably why. And then I think upcoming in the next few months, probably around October or November, we'll start planning for our annual Rural Preparedness Summit again. I think last year was a really big success for us. We had great tribal representation. We'd like to keep that going. So if you are interested in joining the planning team or you have any ideas that you would like to share about any of the plenary sessions, our exercises, trainings that we can offer, any type of workshop, whatever you find interesting that you want to share, please let me know. I'm happy to incorporate that into the planning process. And I think that's really all we have for updates, unless anyone has any questions for us.
Thank you for updating us.
I got one question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Can we use maybe 1 or 2 of your staff to be an evaluator for a flu point of dispensing that we're going to be doing on October 9th?
Yeah, absolutely. If you wouldn't mind sending me that information, we can definitely set that up.
Okay.
Perfect, thank you. Ms.
Hi.
Christensen?
Yeah, so I'm not really aware of what kind of services the health preparedness can help with. I know our clinic is applying for some credentials, and there's some things that they have to do to get those, including training. They have a safety officer there. I suggested to the director that she needs to hire a full-time emergency manager, but we can support her in some of the trainings. Is this something that we can request here from you?
It just depends on the nature of the training and what exactly you're looking for, but I'm really happy to connect offline with you about this and we can talk about it more.
Okay.
So I
Yeah,
can
I'll
get
do
more
that.
of the details and then see, and then if we're not the appropriate person, we'll definitely find the right resource for you.
Yeah, because she's they need to update their EOP, and then they want some
Okay.
training. So I told her I don't want to touch the EOP, but I'll help her coordinate some training. So if we can do that
Yeah.
later. Thank you.
Definitely, yeah.
You mentioned something like.
Perfect, thank you. Are there any other questions for Ms. Gold Monahan? Okay, hearing none. Thank you, Miss Emily, for that report. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
We will close out agenda item number 10, and now we'll move on to agenda item number 11. This is an update from the Nevada Department of Native American Affairs. This is for discussion only, provided by Stacy Montooth. Ms. Montooth will provide NTECC with an update of the department activities related to the support of tribal emergency management and public health preparedness. Ms. Montooth, you have the floor, ma'am.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I just had one announcement. Certainly doesn't, probably won't make a huge difference in the daily lives of our emergency managers and those folks helping coordinate resources during disasters. But I think it's very important that I share this good news. As of July 1, as you heard Ms. Harriet outline, what we used to call the Nevada Indian Commission is now the Department of Native American Affairs. This is really significant for a couple of reasons. First, you know, for the last 17 years, if you looked at the state org chart, the agency that I have the pleasure of overseeing, and our mission then and still is to improve the quality of life for our 28 tribal nations, bands, colonies. And then there's about 60,000 self-identified Native Americans who choose to make Nevada their second home. Our mission hasn't changed, but prior to July 1 of this year, we were always under the purview of tourism. So thanks to Governor Lombardo and the legislative leaders, we were able to move the org chart for the state. We are now a department, and it's a standalone department. I don't think I can share your screen, but I'm very excited because just yesterday, the Legislative Council Bureau publicly distributed the new org chart. I can actually forward the link to that if anybody's interested. I should tell you, I guess it's just a coincidence, but the now Nevada Department of Native American Affairs sits just to the left of the Department of Public Safety. So coincidence? I don't know. I think it's alphabetical order, but that was the really big news that I wanted to share with you all today. And thank you all for your amazing work. And I know that, boy, every time I go home, I'm worried about the wind. I'm worried about the humidity and whether or not I can see lightning in the distance. That makes me nervous. I'm sure that's keeping you all up at night this time of year. But I really appreciate everything you all do and the guidance that DEM has provided us, specifically Chief Fulgerson. So thank you for including me on the agenda today. I'm happy to answer any questions or take feedback if anybody has any.
Yes, ma'am. I have a quick question for you. Has the website been updated? I know I forgot to check, but last time there was some work to it, and but is it up and ready to go, and it has everything in there?
Thank you for that question. Regarding our website, it is up. I wouldn't say it's ready to go. There's a big banner across the top that says that we're in transition. I don't know if any of you have been lucky enough to work with agencies changing logos and changing IP addresses, and I had no idea. So our plan of attack right now is to roll out the launch is, I guess, the correct term, our new look website, our new letterhead, business cards, the logo, all of our branding. That'll happen in November to help us celebrate Heritage Month. So thank you for asking that question.
Very cool. I'm excited for that. That's pretty neat. So we'll keep an eye out for that in November. Okay, any other questions for Ms. Montooth from the members? Okay, well, thank you, Ms. Montooth, for that report. And good luck with everything that you're working on. And look forward to the new branding and the new rollout and the new website. Very exciting. And with that, we'll close out agenda item number 11 and we'll move on to agenda item number 12. This is an update from Federal Emergency Management Agency, Region 9. This is for discussion only, provided by Josie Burnett, FEMA Regional Tribal Liaison for Nevada. Ms. Burnett will provide the NTECC with an overview of FEMA Region 9 all hazards activities and upcoming events. This will include training, tribal partner engagements, tribal consultation opportunities, and outreach activities at the regional and Nevada specific level. Ms. Burnett, I'll let you take it from here.
Thank you, Harriet. Josie Burnett, FEMA Region 9, Tribal Liaison for Nevada. Going to dump a lot of information on you all, but I wanted to make sure I covered some important items. As we had already talked about, we had an excellent tribal partnership workshop in Palm Springs the week of June 25th to the 27th. I'm continuing to support the state's IPPW and thyroid workshops as I'll be presenting cultural sensitivity and awareness trainings at the next two regions in Elko next week and then Carson City. I've been working with our tribal affairs team within the region in support of our Nevada tribes as well as with Arizona and California concerning any wildfire needs and activities. We did have a FEMA advisory that was released this month for fiscal year 2024 BRIC grant for the Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities grant. The official funding opportunity and application requirements will be announced later this year. There were some significant updates to the procedures and new regulations. The region is providing this information now on priorities to focus on assisting applicants getting a jump start on that process. Since it was mentioned earlier, briefly talking about CDERS, the Community Disaster Resiliency Zones. I don't want to spend too much time talking about it because it's really confusing and a lot of intricate details, but the application deadline for tribes to submit has been extended to September 30th. So if you have questions about that, I'll follow up with you individually afterwards based on your specific tribal tract zones and differentiating between the tribal tract and the county tracts. And I've also been pushing out our CDERS workshop sessions that we've been holding throughout the month of August within Region 9. just a reminder, we have our Region 9 monthly tribal partnership calls that are inclusive to our tribes within the region. We just had a call today. It is typically on the second Thursday of each month, and this month's meeting this morning featured a presentation and discussion on BAA roads. And then I'm just gonna give you guys a couple dates for workshops, events, and some upcoming courses and trainings. The region has a tribal emergency and floodplain management workshop series that's currently going on. It did start today. However, you can still register, and we do have 2 upcoming dates on August 29th and September 12th. And then we did have several tribes interested in an upcoming class, which is going to be held here at DEM. It is the L1301 Continuity of Planning course. That is September 16th through the 17th. And then L1 or 1302 is the Continuity of Operations Program Management course, following those dates on September 18th and 19th. And then we have the 2024 Tribal EPA and US EPA Region 9 Conference. That's going to be in San Jose, California, October 22nd through the 24th. And then lastly, we have the 2024, the NCAI Conference, the Annual National Congress of American Indians Conference in Las Vegas, October 27th through November 1st. If anything that I touched on is of interest to you, I tend to push out everything via email, so feel free to reach out to me. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Josie. Any questions for Josie? Okay. Josie, just real quick, the conference you mentioned, October 22nd through the 24th. Which one was that one? So you said, I think you said San Jose.
Yeah, it's the 2024, the Tribal Environmental Conference with
Yeah.
Region 9. It's the EPA conference. It's annually.
Thank you. Any other questions for Josie? Okay, thank you for your update. I appreciate it. With that, we'll close out agenda item number 12 and we'll move on to agenda item number 13. This is updates from the DEM HS Tribal Liaison staff. This is for discussion only, provided by Bill Elliott, DEM HS. The NTECC will be provided an overview of training opportunities, tribal outreach activities, and updates related to the support of tribal emergency management and public health preparedness. So to my favorite NASCAR driver, Mr. Elliott, I turn it over to you, sir.
Thank you, thank you. This is Bill Elliott for the record, and for the record, it's 2 T's in Elliott, not 1. We have been monitoring several different issues in that have impacts to tribal lands in the state of Nevada. The first one was the Yamba Bridge inundation issue. We were monitoring that. It has since not resolved, but it has decreased in emergency. We are still continuing to monitor the city of Yerington water issue. That may impact the Yerington Paiute Tribe Colony. And we're also monitoring, we were monitoring the Walker River low water issue, which seems to have been resolved. So we're in the process, like we've talked about, of hiring the tribal liaison for emergency management and the tribal liaison for health. And we are hopefully making daily strides in trying to get those 2 positions advertised. As Josie mentioned, the Building of Resilient Infrastructure and Communities grant is approaching. We are going to have, through the mitigation program, a kickoff meeting on August 27th. And that's to get the different jurisdictions prepared prior to the BRIC grant NOFO actually landing. We are still in the process, well, we were in the process of developing and getting approved the Tribal Homeland Security Grant Program grant, and it has been funded. And this grant provides for the tribal liaisons and a portion of their operating budget, a very small portion of their operating budget. And it's to ensure that that the tribes, we assisted tribes in meeting NIMS compliance and assisting them with emergency management needs. So as Josie stole my thunder again on the training, as a fisherman, you may know that we've got a mess of training, and as you know, as a fisherman, a mess is more than a bucket full of training. So we got even more than a bucket full of training here, and we got a whole mess full of them. We got G courses at the G300. We have the ICS EOC interface courses. We have a volunteer course. We have both the COOP, Continuity of Operations Planner, and a management course. We have safety officer. So if you would like to see where those courses are, I'd encourage you to go to NTECC.net to look at all the courses we have. We got a whole page full of them, and I hope that you take advantage of those courses. They're open to everybody as long as you're as long as you apply before the last person applies. You'll be in there. And finally, for the record, also, as Dave mentioned, he's only got a few more days, and I wanted to announce in this at this meeting that my retirement date is 4 years, 4 months, and 16 days. You still got me for a while. That's the end of my report. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Hey, Bill, is there some way that we could work with Fancher and maybe make like a www.nevadatrains.gov that automatically goes to NVTQPQEIEIO.net? So that way we have a better website, Dave?
Certainly. I will get with him on that.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Are there any questions for Mr. Elliott from the members? And so if they do not have access to that website, they can contact you and for assistance with that. Is that correct?
Yes, contact me or Rodney, or and we're just training a new guy named Joe. He's going to be our training program officer, and he'll be able to help as well. Lori is retiring here, in fact, sooner than you, I think. So we'll be advertising for the training officer position as well. So, but if you contact me, I'll get you the right place.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. And I know my name is spelled with 2 T's also, so
Yeah.
I feel you. So no other questions from the members for Mr. Elliott?
Looks like Jackie's got a question.
Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Jackie.
I apologize. I just had a hard time hearing Bill Elliott, just the last portion that he talked, it was very computerized, and I tried to put it in the chat, but the chat is disabled. But I could hear you fine, Harriet, so it must have just been a glitch.
Okay, well, I was gonna say, do you know what you missed? But obviously you don't if you didn't hear it.
We have Bill call her offline and.
Yeah,
look her up.
yeah, well, I can call you offline there, Jackie.
Perfect, thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, all right, so we will close out agenda item number 13 and we'll move on to agenda item number 14. This is the introduction of agenda request item form. This is for discussion only, provided by co-chair Dave Fogerson. The chief will discuss the purpose of the agenda request form as an effort to better engage the council in the activities of tribal nations relating to public health preparedness and emergency management. Chief Fogerson, you have the floor, sir.
Thanks, ma'am. Everyone in your packets has got a form that was actually an old form that we've dusted off and brought back to talk about if somebody wants an item put on the agenda. And you don't have to use the form, we're not going to be very bureaucratic about this. The form does outline what items we do need to be able to make an agenda item. So if you are interested in giving a report on the tribe or your tribal activities, what we're looking for is the specific parts you're talking about. We're doing some open meeting law research and looking at our different committees, councils, and task forces with the transition between Brett and I. One of the things that was pointed out was a lot of times we'll just have update from and no details. And that actually violates the open meeting law. And you notice that in today's meeting, we had some of those that we've still got to clean up a little bit. So that way we know what we're talking about there. The idea is there's enough information in agenda items. That way somebody could look at it online or at a posted location and go, I know what they're talking about and that is of interest to me, so I want to be there. Or I know what they're talking about and I don't care, so I'm not going to show up at that one. And so we have to get rid of the updates from and make it a little more specific. So we dust off this form that Harriet found that we used to use. But again, we don't have to use this form, but anybody that wants something on the agenda, it'll be an email to Lauren or use this form. So that way we have the details of what it is specifically you want to talk about. That way we meet and we maintain compliance to open meeting laws. You know, Sam Laddick is a professional downhill skier in her younger days. And she won like gold medals and never lost. And her goal now as a lawyer is to never have an open meeting law violation. And so looking through all these open meeting law complaints. So looking through during the transition, this is why we pulled up. So I want to make sure that we keep Sam looking good through the rest of her career and never have an open meeting law complaint. And I'll take any questions anybody has.
I agree. I don't want any violations either. I'm always stressed out over that. Are there any questions regarding the form? And so just to recap, Chief, it's not required for us to fill this out, but it is helpful, you're saying, and to make sure that the correct information is captured so that it can go on the agenda item or as an agenda item. And we would fill this out and then email it to Miss Lauren. Is there a deadline of when we need to get this to her? Maybe, I mean, I know there's the 3-day rule, I believe, but I'm sure she'll need more time in case she has questions or updates or. And
what we'll do is we'll send this out when we start working on the agenda. We'll email this out to board or council members to see what they want to put on that meeting, on that agenda. Because we do start, the agenda process does have to be posted 3 days prior, but then it's got to be on the account or the state website a certain time. It's got to be the DAG a certain time. It's got to be the chief at a certain time. It's got to be to this person that time. And so we do have a time frame on there. So Lauren will be sending that out to everyone when we start the agenda process and see if anybody has anything. Again, what we're looking for is the specificity. We want you to tell us what you're going to talk about.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Before I close out, any other questions regarding this form? Okay, hearing none. That will close out agenda item number 14, and we'll move on to agenda item number 15. This is the second public comment. This is for discussion only. No action may be taken upon a matter raised under this item of the agenda until the matter itself has been specifically included on the agenda as an item upon which action may be taken. Public comments may be limited to 3 minutes per person at the discretion of the co-chair. Comments will not be restricted based on viewpoint. To provide testimony during this period of public comment via telephone, please call in anytime after 12:30 p.m. on the day of the meeting by dialing 1-669-219-2599. When prompted to provide the meeting ID, please enter 686-738-8625 and then press pound. When prompted for a participation ID, please press pound. And when asked to provide public comment, please press *6 to unmute your phone and *6 again when your comments are complete. Please be advised that the YouTube stream will be between 60 to 90 minutes behind the live meeting. And if you would like to provide public or present public comment, please call in using the above number to hear the meeting live. And so while we wait for the lag time to catch up, would anyone there in Carson City like to provide a public comment?
For the record, Clifford Banuelos, Intertribal Council Nevada, Tribal State Environmental Liaison. During this meeting, item was brought up from the Washoe Tribe of Nevada and California regarding a presentation of a BIA Office of Emergency Management Tribal Assistance Coordination Group resolution support. And during this meeting, I've been communicating with ITCN Executive Director Desiree Quintana. And ITCN is supportive of such a resolution. We just want to make it clear that such a resolution would need to be backed by a member tribe of ITCN to move forward. There is an option for BIA to present a request for a resolution of support, but based on what's been communicated to us, ITCN would be in support of resolution. I do ask that Lisa Christensen uses me as a contact, and I would coordinate with her in the writing of such a resolution. And if she can identify, if you could tell us the timeline of when you need that by, because it may require a phone call from our ITCN board. Thank you.
That's awesome. I think we need to get Crystal Harjo included on that because it's their project and their resolution that they put forward. I know they took it to NCAI already and it was not voted on because they didn't have enough support. So, and I don't think it's going to be ready for this year since NCAI is so close already. But I would like to prepare and hopefully get it on the agenda for next year and have the tribes of Nevada support it at least. And I'll get a hold of you later on, Cliff. Thank you.
Thank you both for that. Are there any other public comments there on Zoom land or in Carson City? Are there any public comments on the phone?
I'm just wondering, is Ross's microphone really working? Because he's been really quiet today.
Okay, well, I guess there are no other additional public comments. So with that, we will close out agenda item number 15 and move on to agenda item number 16. This is for adjournment. This is for discussion and possible action. May I have a motion to adjourn, please?
Don Pelt, Pyramid Lake, motion to adjourn.
Thank you, sir.
Ross Rivera. Second.
Oh, it did work. So we have a motion from Don Pelt and a second by Ross Rivera. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed say no. Motion passes. So everyone, thank you for taking the time to meet with us today. And we are adjourned this afternoon at 2:50 p.m. Have a great rest of your day and we'll see you in 3 months. Thank you so much.
Yeah, have a
Thank
good
you.